Welcome to the Life Makeovers podcast. My name is Cindy D. Whitmer, and I am the Midlife Makeover Coach, helping you turn your midlife into your best life, one step at a time. Through powerful conversations, my own midlife roller coaster story, and over 3 decades of helping people transform their lives through counseling and coaching, I am on a mission to help you create your own definition of success and happiness. Thank you for being here. Today, it is so great to have you here. And today I am so thrilled to have my friend Jen Miller of Jen Miller Coaching here today. Jennifer!
Hey,
Gosh, it's so great to see you.
what a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, Jen. So we met like 5 years ago. We were in a coaching program together.
Yes.
And we were out doing a coaching weekend with our coach in California.
Sure
Had a
was.
great time. But yeah, we spent a year in that coaching program together. And that was life-changing for both of us. And one of the gifts, who knew, would be the friendship that we have. So thank you so much for being here. It's just a thrill to be spending the time with you.
Same here. Thank you, Cindy.
So why don't you introduce yourself, tell our listeners what you want them to know about you, and then we'll roll into
Awesome.
what you got going on.
All right. So Cindy, as you said, I'm Jen Miller. I call myself your conscious mentor. Your conscious mentor. You know, I went through a few labels over the years, but I really like your conscious mentor. It's simple, and it really gets straight to the point. I mentor men and women literally internationally around this whole beautiful world. This whole world. And I'm trying to think, am I on every continent? Do I have clients on every continent?
Ooh, that's very exciting.
Maybe not Antarctica. Antarctica, but every other one I definitely have clients on.
That's very exciting.
And I really dive into the consciousness aspect of life. I cut straight to the chase. And I leave any people who are on this path of self-improvement. I guess that's what we want to call it, right? Self-improvement. There's so many tools out there, external tools, journaling or affirmations, you know what I mean? And I'm not opposed to them.
No.
And I've played with so many of them.
Me too, yes.
But I've also noticed, how can I cut to the chase? I literally want the most simple way to create a life that I enjoy to live in ease, love, with the least amount of effort.
Oh my gosh, that sounds perfect. Yeah, I think you call it simple conscious living, right?
Exactly what I call it.
And so if you were to explain to someone in a sentence or two, what is simple conscious living? What does that mean to live?
What that means is what you are assuming to be true right in here. When I point here, not thinking, but rather what you know to be true and accept right in your heart, your soul. That's what I'm calling consciousness.
Okay, that's the inner wisdom, we might call it, or okay, got it.
Okay. What you assume to be true, that's what you must experience in the physical world, in this world that you perceive with your senses.
Okay, so taking that inner wisdom, what we feel in our gut, our soul, our heart to be true, and living it out, manifesting it in the physical world we're living.
Yep. But this
is
what determines all of this out here.
Yes. So from here is where we create.
Yep.
Whether we like it or not, right?
Whether we like that or not. A lot of us say thinking is first. Feeling has to be first.
Really? Okay. Wow.
How do you even have a thought if you didn't feel it first?
Okay. Wow. Now I've kind of learned the opposite. Like
many of us did.
Thinking.
Yep.
How does that make us feel? And then we think that, we feel that, and then we create or we take action, right? But you're saying let's focus here for this is where it's really at is with the feelings.
You know, because even when we're speaking words or have thoughts, they're not accurate to what you're feeling. Feelings are meant to be felt.
Yeah, they are.
You know, so that's why at first, when I was playing with affirmations, I don't anymore, but at first when I was playing with affirmations, I was noticing what is happening here? Like, what is really, is the power really in these words? And I noticed
being I am statements like I am worthy, I am joyful, I am thin, I am smart, I'm
a millionaire, I'm a successful entrepreneur, I'm whatever, right?
Okay.
And then I started to realize words have zero power.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
But it's what I assume about the words that give them the power.
Oh, that is an important distinction. Okay, so the words only have power to the extent that we give the words power.
Right.
So words could be very powerful in a positive way if we want them to be.
They can have impact. They can have impact. Here's what I like this is what I share about words. Words reveal where one is living from consciously.
Okay. Words reveal where we're living consciously.
So in here.
Okay.
Words will reveal. You know, have you ever heard somebody, they're just a downer? They're just everything like you name.
Ho hum. Yeah, I call it the Eeyore syndrome. Ho hum. You know, Eeyore the donkey and Winnie the Pooh or whatever.
Yep.
It was always woe is me. Ho hum.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, like
let's talk about that. Yeah. We all know people like that.
We all do. That's just revealing where they're living from. They're assuming doubt. I like, we can come up with all kinds of different things. We can come up, they're assuming they're not a good mom, or they're not a good wife, or they're not a good sister, or they're not a good employee, whatever
it is.
I like to chalk all that up as I've just played with doubt. Make it so simple. And let's go back to my motto, simple conscious living. Let's make this very, very simple.
Yeah. So how do you turn that around? If you're living in self-doubt, how do you use this concept to turn it into self-worth or self-empowerment or whatever we want to call it, self-love?
So you turn this around, Cindy, and people who are awakened to this will grasp this. But you know, there's some people, they won't be exposed yet to this because they're just not there yet on their journey.
Yeah, right.
But people who are. So when we can accept that our situations or our words, they all reveal where I'm living from, and they're just an echo. They're an echo. We all know what an echo is. We have to first say it in a cave and then we hear it. So we first have to assume it true within ourselves with a feeling that, oh, I nailed it. Or, oh, I don't think they're going to hire me. Oh, I doubt I got it. Right. We first have to assume something in here without that dialogue that I just showed, something in your heart, your soul. Then it's revealed out here. So this is how you do it. First, have to notice, Cindy, what's not conforming? What's not conforming? So, you know, maybe the marriage is a little rocky.
Okay, good example.
Or maybe like the bank account's not really where you want it.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Maybe the health. Geez, like my time, not my time, but this is all an example.
Yeah.
You know, you just notice decline in health, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
And of course, there's an infinite possibilities in between there. Maybe you're just noticing every morning for like the last 3 months have been nothing but chaos.
Okay.
Okay. But just start noticing what's not conforming. Now we could flip this, like with the people I work with, we've gone away from what's not conforming to what's conforming, but I want it better. I want it different. And I want to say that this isn't all about going from bad to good.
Yes, it's
this goes from good to great to whatever.
Over the top,
Right. Okay.
So just noticing where you're at.
That's it.
Where you want greater satisfaction or
greater success, exactly right.
Greater joy, whatever.
Yep.
Whatever greater you're looking for. Okay.
So you notice it. So you're noticing this, right? Okay. That's the first step, is just noticing.
Right. Okay. And
you do this simply by just sitting back and noticing the moment.
Yeah. Just being in it, right?
Yep. Second step. And this is a 5-step process that I share with people.
Okay.
But when people really start practicing this, they really realize this, Cindy, it's one motion. Eventually it's just one motion.
Oh, okay. Well, let's hear so step 2 is.
So step 2 is discover the state of consciousness. I call it just discover.
Okay.
But for this audience who's listening to this maybe for the first time or who've heard about it and want more details, it's discover the state of consciousness you're living from. You have to discover it.
Okay. And how do you do that?
So you do this. I do this so simply.
Oh, good. I love simple.
I love simple. And I like things very organic and very natural. I don't like to sit down, and if I want to write, I just want to sit down to enjoy writing.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit down and try to figure something out.
Yeah.
Because I get all loopy.
Okay.
So I discover the state I'm living from, and let's define state of consciousness, shall we, for people? Yes. State of consciousness defined as what one is accepting, consenting as true.
Okay. Got it.
And you may hear me just say state.
Okay.
AKA state of consciousness.
Basically, your version of the truth is your state of consciousness. So you want to discover what that is, what your truth you're living from.
Yep.
Is what you're saying.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. Because when we miss this part, Cindy, then we get into this loop of justifying what we noticed. I'm not interested in justifying. No, I'm interested in noticing, discovering where I'm from. So this is how we do it. Okay. Say if I just noticed something like, wow, morning was a little rocky with the girls. It wasn't, but I'm just saying, like, there have been moments like that, right? And a little rocky with the girls. I just have to discover, where was I living from? And I do this by, I woke up going, get out of bed. Hurry up, girls, it's time to get up. Or I want to keep hitting snooze. Or I noticed my inner dialogue right away was, oh, what do I have to do today? All that is showing to me that I'm living from this state that's not filled with love. It's an eye roller. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be resistance.
Yeah. And stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I have to discover where I'm living from. And guess what? I don't even need a label for this. I just notice, wow.
Got it. And this can be different moment to moment, right?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Hour to hour, day to day, week to week. I mean, we could be in this state of consciousness this morning and by this afternoon be in a whole different state of consciousness, so to speak, right?
In an instant, I have used this to change weather patterns.
You've changed weather patterns with this?
I've done this to change traffic patterns.
Wow.
I've done this for my own health, my girls' health.
Oh, nice. This is powerful.
This is absolutely powerful.
Okay, let's keep going then, because I really want people to have the full 5, the whole handful, so to speak. So when we're just all together.
When we're discovering this, Cindy, it's very important we're not being critical.
of ourselves, you mean, or
So
others?
I call this an uncritical self-observation.
Okay, got it.
And as I'm noticing, wow, like my morning, like waking up this morning, laying in bed, yeah, my dialogue was definitely not the greatest, but guess what? That wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It just was, period. No more
Okay.
justifying.
No judgment of self through
It's
this.
uncritical.
Just a sort of a factual
Yep.
uncovering of where we're at.
Uncovering. Yep.
Okay.
Or say if you reacted with a spouse in the morning and there was a little bit of a tiff
Yeah.
going out the door, wouldn't even kiss them, wouldn't even say bye. Maybe there were some other hand gestures, right? Just noticing, I'm just saying,
Which
right?
one, Jen?
Just saying.
Bad one, huh? Who's doing that to their spouse? Like, you were Friends. They did that in the Friends series. They had that episode where they were all.
But it's not good. And like when you're noticing this stuff, and you don't even have to spend much time with this. And that's why it's really cool to work with a mentor who understands this. So we can really take the time, and it's just myself and them, and really let them digest this, dive in, ask questions about it, gain some clarity. But it's not good how I left this morning.
Right.
It's not bad how I left this morning. It's just how I left. It
just is.
It just
is what it is, right?
Period, and put a pin in it and stop creating any other stories. Because a lot of times we'll say, well, his alarm didn't go off. That's why I'm late. He didn't help with the water bottle. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And in what I study and have this lifestyle of, I cannot blame one single being for anything I'm experiencing.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay.
Moving on.
Okay. Number 3. Very
So
good.
we have to discover this state. Okay.
Okay.
Number 3, acceptance.
Of self.
Yep. You're accepting what you just discovered.
Okay.
So if I was to, and remember, I'm doing all of this in what I call a state akin to sleep session.
Okay. Say more about that. What now? Asleep? What did you say?
State akin to sleep session.
Okay.
I can do this on the go. Like clearly if I'm driving and changing traffic patterns, I can't be sleeping.
Oh no.
Right? Like I can't like get into that
would
state.
change the traffic pattern for sure. Not in the way you want to.
No, right. But what I've learned through practicing this for 5 years now, it's just automatic that I can literally do it right in here on an instant. I can. I've dialed it down, and I'm always tightening up my practice, always tightening up.
Okay, so it takes practice. So we get to acceptance of
so we get to acceptance, and we accept what we just discovered as, wow, where I'm living from has gotten me to here, but it's not going to get me over here where I truly desire to be.
Okay, so you connect the dots between my state of consciousness, what I've discovered about it, accept it as it is, and realize it is creating the behavior. And do I want this behavior or don't I want this behavior? I don't want to do this.
No, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to be stressed with my girls and rush them around to get to school on time or whatever. So connect the dots really is the acceptance step. And then asking yourself the question, is this the result I want?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Because if I keep living from that state, this is what I'm going to have.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah. I got to tell you a story at some point, but let's get through the steps first. Because just last night, I could have used this last night. Why didn't we talk about this yesterday? Because I see what I did clearly. Boom. Anyway,
So,
step 4.
Step 4. And remember a few minutes ago how I said, I explained this as 5 steps for teachable moments.
Yes.
Because we do, even though we're living from here, we still have a thinking brain. That's part of this human experience, right? It's part of it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But this is really where we start to see this becoming a wave.
Okay.
So we accept this as taking full ownership.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, if
Yeah.
I was the one who ate the cookies rather than saying it was my sister who ate the cookies, I'm the one without shame who ate the cookies. Okay. I'm the one who did it. But almost simultaneously, as we accept that, because I assume that to be true, so I take full ownership, but I also know anything's possible. So if I don't want this, I can have a different end.
Mm.
So I have to forget. This is step 4. I have to forget completely. Forget what I just discovered and accepted.
Wait, we have to forget it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I need you to say more about that, because then I would be afraid if I forget that I won't be conscious anymore.
Yeah. No.
Okay,
Okay.
rearrange my thinking there. I'm
So
obviously
I am going to completely forget the state that keeps getting me to hitting this brick wall.
okay.
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 Because face it, you know, you and I are both entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And face it, if we keep waking up every single morning, "Ugh, who's going to pay me today? Am I even going to get anything today? Who's going to invest in me? Who's going to trust me? Would we even be here?
No, no, we need to go get a real job.
Okay.
Paycheck every 2 weeks.
Right. Right.
Believe that.
But if I don't completely forget about that state, I mean, have you ever lost a set of keys, or have you ever lost anything, Cindy?
Yes.
Think of how easy it was to lose something. And like, you were literally dumbfounded, like, where in the heck did I put that?
True.
Like that.
That's what you want us to do with this.
That's what I want us to do.
Working. Just let it go.
Yep.
Just like,
Yeah. And I like to describe this as this. Take a flashlight in the dark, right? And say like I can hear where I drop my keys over here. Oh, it's dark. I can't see. I get my flashlight out, put my flashlight on. My flashlight, which is my attention, is solely on that spot. It's not over here. What's behind me?
yeah.
I might know because it's my house that, okay, there's a trash can back there, whatever, but my attention is not there. It's right what's in front of me.
Yes.
But as soon as I move that flashlight over to here, that light, it's forgotten about over here.
Mm. Okay.
So now I'm looking over here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're leaving the other behind.
Yep.
Which is a good thing in this.
100% is a good
Because
thing.
we don't want to live like that.
No. Okay.
Got it.
So we forget about this. Now, we're here talking and I'm here explaining this stuff, right? And you heard me bring up scenarios of the unsuccessful, like who's going to invest in me and all that stuff, right? That's all. But let me tell you this, Cindy. It shows up on calls to demonstrate because people are really curious and they're hungry for this dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't show up much anymore. And I'm not saying I'm 100% free of it, because trust me, there are doubts, but I know how to head them off a lot quicker than before.
Yes. Oh yeah. Your practices has made it become like a wave, you said, just very.
Yeah. So we forget about this, and it's almost simultaneously from what I've experienced. It's almost simultaneous. I accept it.
Boom.
Done. Let's move my attention.
Yep. Shift to the flashlight, shift to the light to
And
where you want to see.
And my step 5 is assume a different end.
Oh, I like that. Assume a different end. Assume it.
Yep. This is the law of assumption. That's what we're studying here, the law of assumption.
Okay, which states that whatever we assume will be, or how does that?
What we assume to be true within must be experienced without.
Okay, what we assume to be true within, so that right there,
Correct?
must be experienced
Out here in this physical world, yes.
Must be experienced out. wow. Okay. So let's go back to like the morning stress, right? So you knew what wasn't conforming, right? That you were stressed and rushing the girls or whatever. I mean, this was your example. It wasn't true, but this was the example. And then you discovered your state of consciousness. Like, oh, I'm stressed. Maybe I didn't sleep well, or I'm being tense about all this or whatever, pressure. Then you accept that. You don't judge yourself over it.
No judgment.
Yep. Like, okay, this is how I showed up. This is what is, right? And not judging yourself. And then seeing, oh, and because I showed up as this is the result I got. I rushed around the girls. They got stressed. Things didn't go smoothly. It was chaotic at the house, whatever. And is that what I want in the morning? No. So then forget it. Take the flashlight, and move it to put the light on what you want to have happen, what you want to create, and assume that that is possible.
And this must be felt. Here's the thing with this law.
Okay.
It needs to be felt here, not thinking about how I wanted it. I know how I wanted it because I had to have this feeling of ease.
Yes.
This urge of just enjoying my kids, enjoying myself in the morning as we get ready. I first had to feel that, and now I'm assuming it as that is the truth. I'm accepting that as done. I'm accepting that that's how my mornings are going to go. And when I can marinate in that feeling here, Cindy, it has to happen.
So you marinate in it. I love that word. You marinate it.
I marinate in it. I just
marinate in the feelings that you want.
That's it.
Whatever they are about anything. And it will be so.
It has to be. It has to be.
And that's the law of assumption.
That's the law of assumption.
Okay, that's a lot. But
are you kidding me? It is. I mean, I've been studying this for 5 years now, and we are infinitely curious beings. So we're never gonna end the learning.
Yeah.
And with this stuff, you don't just nail it one time.
Right. It's a constant choice, isn't it? You're either on it or off it,
and
rearrange.
Always tightening it up. You're always tightening it up. You're always tweaking it.
Okay. So can I share something that I went through last night with my fiance? Okay.
Yes.
So we love to play board games. Okay. And we played another board game last night, and I barely lost, but I lost. But I said, he was talking about there's strategy in this game that we play, right? And so he was talking about how he noticed, I saw you did that to kind of keep me from being able to do that. And I said, yeah, even though I lost, I'm pretty smart. I said that, meaning, I do intentional moves and stuff. I do have a strategy, right? When I'm playing just like he does, and this game calls for it, right? And he goes, yes, you're smart. He goes, yes. And if you were smart, you would understand electronics better. Okay. Now, this is not an electronic game. This is a board, like put it on your dining room table, play a board game, right?
Right.
Okay. So I sat there and I went, what? Like I was like, he's like, well, every time you bump up against something like with your computer, you're not sure what to do. You ask me or you ask Laura or Justin. These are my kids, right? My young adult kids who are intuitive about this stuff. So he goes, yeah. And I'm like, so you're saying I'm not smart because I don't see, this is where my head went, right?
Right.
Where I was feeling was, is he saying I'm not smart just because I have to ask questions about electronics? And I said to him, since when yes, people who have electronic know-how, that is one way of being smart. That's one definition of smart, right? People can be wise about electronics or whatever, or technology. But I said, well, I'm really smart in other areas. I'm I'm sitting there defending my smarts.
Right. Go ahead.
What he said personally. And in his mind, I felt offended.
Right.
Where I was feeling. And he was like, I just gave you a compliment. He was saying that was a compliment. No kidding. Because he said, I was saying, yes, you are smart, Cindy. And that means you could figure out electronics too. You can figure out anything if you really want to, because you're that smart. But I heard it as, well, you say you're smart, but you can't even figure out.
I understand.
You see how this conversation.
Listen, right here is a great example. Right here's a great example, Cindy, of words.
Yes. Totally.
You could have interpreted it. You interpreted it how you interpreted it.
Meaning to it. Yep. And he put other meaning to it.
He had other meaning. And if somebody else would have been sitting there, they could have interpreted how they interpreted it, right? But isn't that funny? And this is what I'm saying. I'll keep it clean, Cindy. But like, I'll keep it clean. But like, you could say something vulgar to somebody and they laugh about it. You say it to the next person, they're ready to knock your head off.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
All this is words. It's just words. It's just.
I couldn't let it go, Jen.
I hear you.
Okay. So we had that moment of talking about it.
Yes.
I did not feel resolved. We went on, we did something else. And about 20 minutes later, I said, I need to circle back around to this.
Okay.
So, because I was still not at peace.
Sure.
And I felt like he needed to know that how he said that was offensive or could be taken. I said, I know you love me. You weren't trying to offend me, but I said, you might want to be careful how you say things like that to other people because it could be taken offensively. And he was like,
he didn't get it.
He did not, it didn't go well. And finally we were just like, okay, whatever, and so with listening to you this morning, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want that result. Right. And I don't want to behave how I ended up behaving. I don't want to feel how I felt. So how do I go back and go, okay. Great. So will you talk me through that because everybody out there listening right now, get in your head right now, something that's not conforming, right? Whatever it was. Did it happen this morning? Did it happen last night? Did it happen last week? Is it happening in general in your life at work, in general in your life in a relationship, your health, just like what Jen was saying, your bank account, whatever it is, think right now, oh yeah, I'm not happy about this.
And I'm going to say one more thing.
These things here.
Whatever anybody here, listeners are coming up with that hasn't conformed to what was ideal. And when I say ideal, it's loving. It's really enjoying that experience, right?
Yeah. Right.
So I have to insert this. And of course, people can dive into more, if they want to seek me out and we can dive into a much deeper conversation on this. Mm-hmm. But whatever you're noticing, I don't want you to put any size on it.
So it's not big or small, you mean?
No size. They're all divine. They're all divine.
It's all divine. Oh,
all divine.
Very important thing to keep in mind.
So like what you're sharing, that's it is. It's divine. Is no different than an outstanding bank account or one that's in the red. They're all the
same.
They're all the same.
Okay. Wow. They don't feel all the same, do they?
They sure don't. But you know why they don't feel the same? It's not even a feel. It's what we've thought about them. It's the story we created about them.
You're right. Oh, that's so true. Again, words have the power we give them only.
That's it.
So if I think this is a big deal, I'm going to make it a big deal. But if I can just go, oh, he said that. I said that.
So
That.
let's dive in.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Real quick. Let's just go through it
So
pretty quickly.
noticing that, and you're going to notice, I'm going to sum this up very, very simply. I'm not going to have to dive in and analyze it. Like,
no.
I feel in the psychological world, like I studied psychology, there always had to be a term, always a problem, always
yes,
something that I couldn't pronounce.
Blah, blah, blah.
Here,
we can be real practical here.
Here I'm playing with one thing, doubt. I doubted myself.
Yes.
Period. I don't have to know when I doubted myself. Cindy, what you experienced last night, I call it a harvest.
Okay. Tell me more.
You know, when we plant these desires by assuming them to be true, that's just like a farmer planting a seed in a farm. In a field, excuse me, in a field.
Okay.
That farmer is not going to have a fruitful crop if he doesn't trust himself. If he has to go out there every day and dig up the seed to see if it's rooting, that it's not going to root.
It'll ruin the crop.
It'll ruin it.
Okay, yeah.
Same as true with our desires.
So we don't want to micromanage them.
Plant them, let them grow naturally. Yeah. So at some point, Cindy, let's sum this up real brief. At some point, Cindy, you gave life, you assumed doubt at some point. And let's take this scenario here. Let's just take the scenario. And remember, I remember back to 5 years, I remember some scenarios where you said, I am not the tech person.
Right, I did, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay, I'm not the tech person. Like, right?
Yeah.
So at some point that was assumed, I'm not the tech person. And listen, remember, I can go different ways on a one-on-one call, but I'm making this very brief for our audience here and listeners.
Yes.
And you've assumed I'm just not great at it. Okay. So living and thinking from, not thinking of, that's two different things, but thinking from the state of I'm not great. Do you see and can you accept that when your fiance said that to you, you heard it and perceived it as I'm no good?
Yes. I'm not smart.
I'm not smart.
Yeah. Therefore, I'm dumb.
Yep. Okay. But you see, but you see how he had to, and this is what the world does. This is what our scenarios, this is what conversations, this is what every moment reflects back. It's a mirror. This world is a complete mirror to our assumptions. Yes. And you know what? It's pretty slick because we can assume something like that
quick.
Just like that. Even hopping in my car, if I look and I see my kid spilled Doritos in the back, right there, I've reacted. Big deal. It's a bag of Doritos, Cindy. Big deal.
Right.
A bag of Doritos. How can that bag of Doritos do anything to me? But I assumed my kids are pigs. So guess what? Guaranteed in the near future, if I don't go back and root that and dig that one up and replant it, we're going to have pig scenarios all over the place.
Oink, get your house right.
Cindy, I love you. So Cindy, does this make sense what I just explained with your scenario?
Yes, totally. And I just thank you for letting me share that because I want the audience to have a practical,
absolutely,
another practical experience that just happens in a day, a normal little day with normal people just being themselves.
Yep. And you know what I practice, there's definitely depth and philosophy to it.
Oh, for sure.
But what I want to bring to people is the practical aspect, the practicality of, I say to people, go plant 3 new desires a day.
Ooh.
People say to me, I don't have 3 new desires a day.
Oh.
I said, I guarantee you, that's what you're assuming. So when the opportunity does present itself, you don't see it because you're assuming you don't. So you can't really see it. But you know what? Just the other week I was just desiring, I know I'm not from this town here in Salina, Ohio. I'm not from here originally. I'm from Pennsylvania. So like back there, I know where the fresh donuts are. I know where you can get a cold 6-pack. I know where you can go get comfortable furniture. Here I need to ask people and find it myself. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was laying in bed one morning. I'm like, oh, my desire was just donuts. Like, I mean, fresh donuts, not Dunkin' Donut. I mean, fresh, homemade donuts, local.
Yes. In Salina, Ohio.
In Salina, Ohio, right? And I didn't even know that these existed, honestly.
Yes, where you were new.
So that morning, I was watching my friend's little girl because there was a princess event. And didn't the dad bring over a dozen of fresh donuts? Are you kidding me? Thank you.
I mean, you asked.
I went in, I planted that desire.
Yes.
And I didn't. And here's the thing, as soon as we plant that desire, so assuredly, like it is done. It's done. And you first have to accept it in here before it shows up. So this is what gets people. But that's not what my bank account is showing me. My table doesn't have donuts on it. So how can that even be? And I don't even know where to go. That's not your concern. You have one concern. Notice your urges, plant the seed, trust this whole world. They have to conform to you.
That's so encouraging. So plant the desires, believe it's possible for them to be, just assume
it's done. Assume it's done. Done.
Plant the desires, assume it's done, sit back, enjoy your life.
Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Go about your morning, enjoy the kids, enjoy your spouse, enjoy. And like someone said to me, there's not always rainbows out my butt. And I said, but guess what? That's what I sure want. I said, I sure do. But along the way, I also notice when it isn't exactly right, that doesn't mean it's bad. Like last night, I'm not assuming at all that last night was bad for you. No. This is growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're eternal beings. We grow when we're in that state of expansion and growth. And you know what, Cindy, this is my audience who I play with. I play and explore with people who are not desperate for a quick fix.
Yes.
If they're desperate, they're desperate for the hunger of depth and expansion.
Yes.
And just really not one single thing's out of reach, Cindy.
Not at all. And I want you listeners to hear that, because this 5-step process that Jen has so beautifully illustrated can be applied to anything in your life, anything you want, anything you desire in any area of your life. You know, I know we have to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes or so, but I know that a lot of women, particularly in midlife, feel like they're done.
Yes.
Like it's all, downhill from here. It's too late for them this, it's too late for them that. They're too this, they're too fat, they're too poor,
this is
they're
interesting.
too lost, they don't have a purpose, they don't know what they're doing. You know, they think they're going to just age.
This is interesting.
Die. You know, I mean, I hear that a lot. Now I hear the other two women who are, I'm in my second chapter and this is exciting, and, that too. But for those that are just feeling really raw right now,
yep,
and feeling like there's just not a lot to look forward to, like, what's that one little gem of encouragement you think is really important that we reiterate or make sure is clear before we go?
That's really interesting, because guess what? I do work with people from their 20s up to whatever age. Like I've had an 83-year-old sign up with me last year.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Everybody needs this.
And I hear this, and you know what I bring them back to?
Tell me.
I bring them back to how lovely it is that at X age, and I invite them away from the age has nothing, age is man-made. It has nothing to, we've created this age. Let age out of it and go simply to now and the experience of you.
Yes.
And here's my number one question.
Okay.
what do you truly desire?
Mm.
And to those listening to this, don't write anything down. I don't want you to write any of it down. I want you to go right inside your heart and really feel, what do you desire?
Mm.
If you're noticing stories coming up, I want a different house, but slam the door on the but.
Forget the but.
Get it.
Yeah.
But I really want to know. I want you to know. Go all the way to the end of that desire. Real quickly, and this is how I know you said we're coming to an end here. What do I truly desire? What would I smell that implies my desire's done?
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
What would I touch that implies my desire is done, meaning fulfilled?
Yes.
What would I smell that implies my desire is done? What would I hear that implies my desire is done? What would I see that implies my desire is done?
Yes.
Do you know why those are so important? And listen, of course, that's a whole, again, mentoring. Deeper.
But I get it. You want to see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, feel it.
Because then you're sliding into, and you need to play with this. Remember, age has nothing to do with it. You literally slide yourself into that moment. You don't watch yourself on a movie screen living that. You are the actor in that moment, in that movie.
Okay. I love it. Ooh, so you're an active participant.
You have to be an active.
You're living it out. You're living it out.
To live it out.
And feeling it with all the senses.
And when we play with the senses, it becomes physically real.
Awesome. Oh, Jen.
I love you. Thank you so.
I love you. We could go on all day long. This is
That's a true statement. This is good stuff. More than good stuff.
This is powerful stuff, people. This is life-changing. If it's all new to you, just take it in, listen to this a couple times, absorb what she's saying. Find her on Facebook at Jen Miller Coaching. That's her Facebook group. You can join. JenMillerCoaching.com is her website. Check it out. She has the one-to-one mentor. She's your conscious mentor and does one-to-one mentoring. But you can find out anything you need to know about what Jen offers and so forth there. And wow, thank you so much,
Cindy.
And delightful. Just delightful.
And anybody who says, like, trying to wrap your head around it, I'm going to invite you, don't even try to wrap your head around it knowledge-wise. But if you listen to this again, I'm going to invite you to notice, what did you experience within yourself as you and I were sharing?
I'm going to do that when I listen to it again.
Because people are all the time, notes. Yeah. What if you trust yourself so much that what you got from this hour together today, your takeaways, without writing them, your natural takeaways is exactly what you needed for the next step.
Amen.
I love you. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love you too. And thanks everybody for listening. I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Life Makeovers podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast with those that you think would also benefit from what we're doing here. And I will talk to you again soon.